Dragon Quest and the Nintendo Wii both had their anniversaries this year, and that is cause for celebration. The Wii revolutionized home entertainment. I use those words instead of gaming because it brought families in a home closer together, while some hardcore gamers argued that it wasn't made for them. I adore the Wii and it's probably my desert island console. But I haven't seen any special products or celebrations regarding the Wii 50th anniversary. Dragon Quest, on the other hand, has had its main theme played at the Olympics this year in Japan. Wait, stop there! They actually played the soundtracks of game franchises that originated in the country as a national pride. They actually played the themes, like a kid wanting to surprise his guests at a birthday party with a magician. You gotta freaking love this country. What do these two have in common though? Dragon Quest was born on the NES as Dragon Warrior. It did fairly well on the SNES as well, it moved to handhelds and then to PlayStation. There were releases on the DS and 3DS, mostly remakes, but no new main entries in the series. The Nintendo Wii eventually got a very interesting spin-off, Dragon Quest Swords. Today we're exploring if Dragon Quest and the Wii was a good match, but before that, here's an ad about... Just kidding! Imagine grown men advising other grown men what products to buy to shave their balls. I do have something else prepared before we continue. There's been some other news in the world of Nintendo and Dragon Quest, but it's sad news. Legendary composer Koichi Sugiyama has passed away this year. He was the composer of the franchise and the reason I got into the franchise. And I've had a rough year, to say the least, as well. And his music has been a guiding light, and I'm forever grateful. And to express this gratitude, I decided to cover some of his songs, or motifs of his songs, for this video. I hope you guys enjoy. Domo arigato, Koichi-san. In Dragon Quest Swords, you start out as a protagonist who has just turned 16. In his village, this means he has come of age and he has to perform a certain rite of passage. Normally, this would be overseen by the queen herself, but she is oddly unavailable for the duration of this ritual. This is where the story will focus after she is seen wearing a mysterious mask, which the title refers to as well. You are the son of a great swordsman and hero, one who obviously had been a ladies' man to such an extent that even the queen herself is suggested to have a past with him. He basically encourages you to chase after the first new friend you make, Fleurette. I think this game is subtly funny this way. It knows it's a bit ridiculous and at the same time a love for community, nature, fantasy, human decency, duty and adventure shine through. Dragon Quest has these lovely over-the-top references to medieval European culture and various other times. Fleurette obviously came straight out of Moulin Rouge. It doesn't fit at all, but at the same time it makes me rethink those boundaries. Why not? Let's go with it. She asks what she can call you. If you refuse the 3 options she comes up with, she will then ask you if she can call you mon ami, which means my love or my friend depending on the context. Characters like Fleurette and the prince will join you on quests outside of the kingdom's walls. Dragon Quest Swords is a first-person game, which is a first in the franchise. You walk around the town to buy items or talk to NPCs to progress the story. It has a soothing and calming vibe to it in my opinion, and it makes me think a lot of old point and click games like Myst, which I really loved. When you leave the kingdom to go on a quest, you select a predetermined route from the map and follow a linear path to your objective. Sometimes you have the option to go left or right, but it basically feels like you're on rails. I believe this is the reason I've heard so little of this game. The open world and freedom to roam are kind of absent here. The rest of it is Dragon Quest and very Dragon Quest II, but it's in essence a smaller and more confined game. Like I say with the rest, gathering items, leveling up, using healing potions, buying new armor, going through caverns, all these elements are here. If you are not bothered by the restrictions, this is in essence a first-person Dragon Quest game. The first-person perspective makes for a better immersion in the Dragon Quest universe. I think this franchise has actually been screaming for a game like this. The gameplay is very interesting. You can hate or love it, but it's definitely innovative. You point the Wii remote at the screen and the cursor is where you defend or attack. For example, pressing and holding B will turn the cursor into a shield. Enemies shooting projectiles will have an indication of where the projectile will hit, so you can move the cursor and shield over to that spot to defend yourself. The Wii Motion Controls obviously control your sword attacks. Vertically, horizontally, diagonally and forwards thrusts are the basic slashing movements. To gain more accuracy, you can set a focal point with the cursor to strike multiple enemies at once. For example, sometimes Drakies will line up diagonally, indicating that you need to strike them diagonally. You get introduced early on to countering projectiles, and this can be a little bit tricky. Archers will fire arrows that you need to counter at the right time by slashing with or without a focal point at the moment and place the blue indicator appears. This will deflect the arrow, defeating the archer. There is a lot of variety of enemies early on, and because they all act different, combat is not as easy as it seems. Sometimes you're shielding two acid spits while trying to set a focal point to strike, and then immediately try to return to your shield, and then the cursor gets lost in the process. It's a bit hectic, and I found out that you don't want anything to get in the way of your motion controls working properly. I have two Wiis and I started playing this on my Mini, sitting and standing pretty close to the screen. It's a fairly modern TV, so there is bound to be some reflection. The motion control does not work optimal on this TV therefore. If I sit and remain seated, no problem, but if I stand, I quickly lose the cursor. I went for a new game on my original Wii in the second game room and the game played so much better. This really is a thing. I remember videos on YouTube praising motion controls, especially the Motion Plus controls in rail shooters and games like this. If you have reflection, you will never play the game like intended. Dragon Quest Swords is the sort of game that is pretty unique and may seem like an unnecessary entry to some, but I think there will never be a game quite like it. That goes for a lot of games on the Wii. I know that the Zelda Skyward Sword re-release didn't do that well, but I think it's still a bit early. So many Wiis have been sold that the console could never be rare or hard to find. I do think, however, that the cultural significance will grow even more with time. In another 15 years, we might look at the Wii like we look at the Vectrex now. An innovative piece of gaming technology that stood the test of time and hasn't really been copied since. I know that if the day comes, Dragon Quest Swords will be among the bundle of games being showcased. I love this game. I love the graphics, the music, the cheeky characters, the difficulty, and even the controls. If you own a Wii and you love Dragon Quest, you basically can't pass up on this one, and I hope my video can persuade you to give it a try. Stay shiny, heroes!